What if Bandit Heeler, the dad who plays endless games and never says no to his daughters, is hiding a painful truth about his own father? In Bluey Season 4, something's not quite right. Grandpa Bob disappeared for over 100 episodes, can't remember his own son's name, and has a mysterious chunk missing from his ear. Bandit's hyperactive parenting style isn't just about being fun. It's about being everything his own father never was. And the most devoted fans have noticed that behind every silly game and imaginative adventure, Bandit might be running from a childhood he's never fully confronted. Memory mystery. If you've watched Bluey carefully, you've probably noticed that Bandit rarely talks about his childhood. Unlike Chili, who shares stories about her mother and father with warmth and nostalgia, Bandit's past remains largely unspoken. When Grandpa Bob finally appears in Granny's during Season 1, the reunion feels cordial but emotionally muted. There's love there, certainly, but also a distance that's hard to ignore. The most telling moment comes in Fairy Tale from Season 3, where we see a flashback of young Bandit with his father. Bob appears strict, focused on toughening up his son rather than engaging with his imagination. While the show doesn't explicitly criticize Bob's parenting, the contrast with how Bandit raises Bluey and Bingo couldn't be more stark. Where Bob pushed for discipline and traditional masculinity, Bandit embraces play, vulnerability, and emotional openness. But here's where it gets complicated. Bob's absence from the series for over 100 episodes wasn't just a storytelling choice. According to creator Joe Brum, Bob was traveling through India on a journey of self-discovery during this time. For an elderly dog who struggled to remember his own children's names, this explanation feels suspiciously convenient. The truth might be far more painful. The forgetting. One of Bandit's deepest wounds revolves around something that happened long before Bluey and Bingo were born. Bob Heeler has demonstrated significant memory problems throughout the series, struggling to recall basic details about his sons' lives. In multiple episodes, he can't even remember Bandit's name correctly, calling him by his brother's names instead, or drawing a complete blank. For most viewers, this plays as comedy. For Bandit, it's likely been a source of lifelong pain. Imagine growing up with a father who couldn't remember which son you were, who treated you interchangeably with your siblings, who never quite saw you as an individual. That kind of erasure, even when unintentional, leaves scars. The theory gaining traction among fans is that Bob may be suffering from early-onset Alzheimer's disease or another form of dementia. His memory issues appear in flashbacks from when Bandit was still young, suggesting this wasn't simply a product of old age. If Bob has been battling cognitive decline for decades, it would explain his extended absence from the family and Bandit's complicated relationship with his father. More heartbreaking still, Bandit may have spent his entire childhood trying to be memorable enough, good enough, special enough to stick in his father's mind. The fact that he failed, through no fault of his own, could be the driving force behind why he's so determinedly present for Bluey and Bingo. Hidden health crisis. There's another secret Bandit may be carrying, one that's literally written on his body. Fans have noticed that Grandpa Bob is missing a chunk of his ear, a detail that becomes significant when you realize this injury wasn't present in flashbacks to Bob's younger years. The prevailing theory is that Bob had skin cancer on his ear, necessitating surgical removal of the affected tissue. Australia has one of the highest rates of skin cancer in the world due to intense UV exposure, making this a tragically common reality for many Australian families. If Bob did battle skin cancer, and if genetic predisposition runs in the family, Bandit would face increased risk himself. This would add a layer of urgency to all those moments where Bandit plays with his daughters, creating memories while he's still healthy enough to do so. The show has never explicitly confirmed this theory, but the visual storytelling speaks volumes. Bob's missing ear chunk serves as a silent reminder that even in the bright, colorful world of Bluey, real-world health threats exist. And Bandit, watching his father age and deteriorate, would be acutely aware of his own mortality. Season 4 may finally address this directly, possibly through an episode where Bandit has his own health scare or makes a conscious effort to take better care of himself. The emotional weight of such an episode would be devastating, forcing both Bandit and viewers to confront the reality that even the most dedicated dads aren't invincible. The archaeological cover. Here's a wild theory that's gained surprising traction in the Bluey fandom. Bandit and Chili's comfortable lifestyle, including their million-dollar home in what appears to be Brisbane's affluent Paddington neighborhood, doesn't quite add up. Bandit works as an archaeologist, and while that's a respectable profession, it doesn't typically generate the kind of income needed to afford such prime real estate. Chili works in airport security, which is similarly middle income at best. So how do the Heelers afford their lifestyle? Some fans have jokingly theorized that Bandit and Chili are actually international smugglers. As one theorist notes, Bandit has the ability to obtain rare and valuable archaeological finds, while Chili has the means to ensure that those finds make it past Australia's infamously strict border security. While this is almost certainly meant as dark humor rather than serious speculation, it highlights a genuine inconsistency in the show's world building. The more likely explanation is that Bandit inherited wealth from his family or made lucrative discoveries early in his archaeology career. However, if there's any truth to the smuggling theory, even in a sanitized, child-friendly form, it would represent the darkest secret Bandit could be hiding. That the comfortable life he's built for his daughters rests on ethically questionable foundations. More realistically, Bandit's secret regarding money might simply be that he struggles with financial anxiety despite their comfortable circumstances. Many children who grew up with unstable finances or emotionally unavailable parents develop complicated relationships with money and security. Bandit's desperate need to be the fun dad and give his children every experience might stem from his own childhood, lacking those things. The unspoken loss. Perhaps the most emotionally resonant theory about Bandit's secret involves a loss that predates Bluey's birth. Multiple episodes, most notably The Show, strongly suggest that Chili experienced a miscarriage before Bluey was born or between Bluey and Bingo. When Bingo's balloon pops during the play, Chili's visible distress and Bandit's immediate, knowing comfort reveal a shared trauma. But what if that loss affected Bandit even more deeply than we've seen? Expectant fathers also grieve miscarriages, but their pain is often overlooked as families focus on the mother's physical and emotional recovery. Bandit may have suppressed his own grief to support Chili, never fully processing the loss of his first child. This could explain why Bandit sometimes seems to favor Bingo, as noted in the mini Bluey episode. If Bingo was born after a devastating loss, Bandit might unconsciously see her as a gift, a second chance, a miracle they almost didn't get to experience. His slip about wishing there were two Bingos isn't just about preferring calmer children. It might reveal a complicated emotional landscape where Bingo represents both joy and the painful memory of the child who never got to play these games. Season 4 could explore this through an episode where Bandit finally opens up about that loss, perhaps prompted by Chili's pregnancy with a third child or a conversation with Bluey as she grows old enough to understand. The revelation wouldn't change the family dynamic, but it would add profound depth to Bandit's character and explain why he cherishes every moment with his daughters so intensely. The grandfather's shadow. Ultimately, Bandit's deepest secret might be the simplest and most universal. He's terrified of becoming his father. Every generation of parents swears they'll do things differently, that they'll break the cycles that hurt them. Bandit's hyperactive, imagination-forward parenting style represents a complete rejection of how Bob raised him. But what happens when Bandit sees Bob's traits emerging in himself? When he forgets something important, does he wonder if his own mind is beginning to fail? When he loses his temper or feels too tired to play, does he fear he's becoming the distant, forgetful father he grew up with? The show has hinted at this fear in episodes like Fairy Tale and The Sign, where Bandit makes difficult decisions about work, family, and his own identity. His constant willingness to sacrifice his dignity, his rest, and his back health for his daughter's happiness stems from a desperate need to prove he's different from Bob. He's not the father who forgets. He's not the father who's emotionally unavailable. He's not the father who his children will one day struggle to connect with. But in striving so hard to be the opposite of Bob, Bandit may be denying himself the grace to be imperfect, to be human, to make mistakes without it meaning he's failed as a father. Season 4's exploration of intergenerational trauma, healing, and forgiveness could provide Bandit the space to acknowledge that he doesn't have to be perfect. He just has to be present, which he already is in ways that matter most. What do you think Bandit's deepest secret is? Have you noticed other clues we missed? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that make Bluey one of the most emotionally sophisticated shows ever created. Because sometimes, the most important stories are the ones hidden just beneath the surface, waiting for us to dig them up.